It is a real privilege to introduce Paul Stadden to talk about the Waterfront Rescue Mission. Paul?
Sing this, sing it with me. Nobody, cool. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you coming to this chamber breakfast, not just to support us, of course, but to support the chamber and the wonderful work they do. I want to thank my Waterfront Rescue Mission team for being here. They are some of the most delightful people to work with and for. I want to thank my old compatriots from Cat Country News Radio as well. I love you guys. Worked with you for almost a decade. So, how many of you guys, and this time I actually do want you to participate, how many of you guys had a summer job when you were a kid? That's darn right. My summer job was working at a place called Emerald Coast Growers. The reason I mention them is not only did they help make our sponsorship possible today, but wherever you worked as a kid, you have that indelible mark on you that you never forget your first real job. My first real job was working with plants at Emerald Coast Growers. And I don't know if you've ever had to work in the middle of the Florida heat in greenhouses wearing long work pants so that the plants don't cut your legs as you're moving around in flats and long, heavy work shirts and going home in a car that has no air conditioning. But I learned what sweating meant, and it hurt. But it was also an incredible opportunity. I got to watch growth. I got to watch businesses come, get these plants, and make them businesses look amazing, and have these plants out in front, we supplied them to Disney World. It was exciting because it was all about growth. It was all about newness and freshness in these plants that made everything look amazing. So forgive the cheesy segue. But I think that love of growth and that love of change and that love of newness and freshness kind of carried through in everything that I did. Whether it was radio and new fresh ways and making commercials, making fun radio, and then coming to Waterfront and watching newness, watching life happen. And it was really eye-opening when I first got to see what Waterfront offered. So I know we got the slideshow ready to go. You're taking pictures of me. Take the pictures first. And then we'll get to the slideshow later. But I got to see something that I didn't know existed. And this is the part where I tell you every tour I give, and I do give tours and I love doing it, and I always hear two things on the tour. One is at the end of the tour, someone says, or everyone says, I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, I actually had that written on a note card, act like I predict what you say. We're gonna put that on a t-shirt too, by the way. The other thing I hear is, shame on me. And that's what I say. Because I worked in media for 10 years and had no idea of the things that Waterfront Rescue Mission did. And I still can't believe I didn't. But I came for a tour, and I saw. So what does Waterfront Rescue Mission mean to the community? Oh, that's right, I didn't have to click. Oh, no. Look, you prepared. This makes me feel good. So, the logo, burn that into your brains, by the way. But how do we help people? What do we do? I'm going to talk a little bit about how we do, and then from the business perspective, what does Waterfront Rescue Mission offer you, the business owners? What do we do that helps you, helps this community? Well, to start off with, we have a recovery program. It's 12 months long, and we offer a lot in there. That's everything from helping people get over addictions, getting over life-dominating issues, getting out of homelessness, basically becoming a new person. And that's not easy. I mean, these guys take care of our facility. They do the laundry, they cook the meals, they clean. They treat it like their house. For some of them, this is the first house they ever had. So things we take for granted, such as, oh, of course I know how to make my bed and clean my room. My mother always taught me that. Some of these guys did not have that. The other day, one of our chaplains told me that he went up and hugged one of the clients. And not even thinking about it. He was about the same age, or about 60 years old, goes up and just puts his arm, hey, how you doing, man? And the guy just kind of paused for a second and looked down. And he said, Chaplain, that's the first time anybody's ever hugged me. How do you get to 60 years old and you've never been hugged? You see, we have a sign in the front of Waterfront Rescue Mission that says, if you don't have a friend in the world, you have one here. When I first walked in, I thought, oh, that's cute. That's a nice platitude. But there are people who are there that take it very seriously because it's true. If you don't have a friend in the world, you have one here. So beyond just the concrete things of, oh yeah, we help you start, we get you a GED, you can learn a skill, earn money, resume building, all these kinds of things. You know, we have things like an overnight shelter where if somebody needs to stay the night, they can. If a man needs to stay the night, get some shelter and roof over his head, he can. We have a veterans dorm where guys who serve in the military, this is something that blew my mind, by the way. When I first took the tour, and they said, and at the time the percentage was a little bit higher. It said 16% of the people that we serve, 16% of the homeless people here are veterans. Now that's dropped a little bit, it's actually dropped nationwide pretty precipitously over the last few years, which is great news, but the sad news is I still have to talk about homeless veterans. That you can go from wearing a uniform for the country and then living on the street. They first served us. We have to serve them. We also have a respite dorm. We partner with hospitals in the area that when somebody gets discharged, how many of you have been discharged from the hospital before, but you gotta have an address to be discharged to? What if you don't have an address to be discharged to? What do? Where do you go? Well, sometimes they get a one-way Uber fare to Waterfront Rescue Mission, and they end up in our respite dorm. Now the average stay is a little less than 2 weeks, but there's people who stay for months. Somebody gets done with a back surgery, and they get discharged and have nowhere to go. We have 10 hospital beds where they can stay. You have to be ambulatory, you have to be able to get around to come here. But if you can, we want to have a bed for you. Other ways that we do things. We like to say that we don't give a handout, but we give a hand up. Because the whole thing about Waterfront Rescue Mission is not merely keeping people where they are, but what can we give you to spur you on to the next thing, to grow, to become. So yes, we do offer shower, laundry, connection to services, toiletries, and clothing. Yes, we serve a lot of meals, almost 250,000 meals. Yes, we do offer things like those, you know, see the volunteers there dropping off socks. We do a lot of that. But it's not just giving somebody a pair of socks. It's, I know you're cold, what can I do to help you? And what about tomorrow? What are we going to do to help you get connected to somebody? Is our service right for you? If not, well, that's okay. Can we connect you to somebody else? Maybe, and I see Heidi from Volunteers of America is here. We have people who come in from the streets, live in our volunteer or our veterans dorm, and then they can see maybe Volunteers of America as a place where they can stay long term. So we partner with other agencies. You know, it's one of the things when I came into the world of nonprofits, I realized that it's not a competition anymore. We're in this together. We all have different services that we can offer. There are other great nonprofits in this town that do phenomenal work, and we get to partner with them to get somebody into that thing that's going to help them for the rest of their lives. And who helps us do this? How is this possible? We're a nonprofit. It means that, you know, we don't have a product that we're selling. You know, we don't have like a line of couches that we sell. Well, we do have the Waterfront thrift stores, which does account for about 35% of our budget. But ultimately, the Waterfront Rescue Mission, we're dependent upon volunteers and donors, and grants as well. People who come partner alongside of us. When I tell people that $1 equals $5 at Waterfront Rescue Mission, the reason for that is because of people like those volunteers that help us do things, drive vans, be mentors. It's the best return on investment you're ever going to get. I have a 401k that is making like a percentage of a point of a percent from my retirement. $1 equals $5? Are you kidding me? Gold doesn't do that. So, shame on me for not knowing. But that's the thing about when you get this kind of knowledge, you can't keep it in, you have to share it. I love meeting people like Michael there, who graduated 23 years ago, is still clean and sober, owns his own business. Because here's the thing, I want to talk about not just all these nice sounding things about, oh, look how many people we have in our overnight dorm, look how many people we serve. But what does it matter for you? Why do you care? Well, here's the thing. That guy who the other day was taking a shower with a hose behind your business, if we can help him go through a program and make him employable, give him skills for the rest of his life, get him off of drugs if he's on drugs. If he has a gambling problem, get him off the gambling problem. If it's chronic homelessness, helping him understand what it means to keep a home and a job. And if you're giving these skills to somebody, you make them employable, that means that you have another person you can employ. Also, I'll get the numbers for you. The average homeless person in Escambia County costs taxpayers $31,000 a year. Which means, if you have somebody in an entry-level position, just imagine their entire salary going to help somebody stay homeless. I don't know about you, but I'd rather take that person and help them into something new and help them move on to something big and great. And I say big and great because I think we have in our heads this kind of limiting thing of like, well, how far can a person who is living homeless really go? We may not say it out loud, but let's be honest here. We've all thought it. I have. I thought, go get a job. Well, it's not just a matter of maybe they can go on and do some low-level entry thing. They can go on and do big, great things. I said, Michael owns his own business. He's not the only one. The man who owns Four Seasons Restaurant downtown, he's a graduate of Waterfront. There are people who have gone on from Waterfront Rescue Mission to own businesses and hire more graduates of Waterfront because it's spiraled out. In fact, if you ever want to feel good, Google homeless celebrities and see who used to live in a car and is now in a movie that you just watched. People who live homeless don't have to have limits. People who lived addicted don't have to have limits. Now, I'm not saying write us a check right now. I'd rather you come for a tour and see if it's right for you. Because what I want people to see is that there are people who can do it. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy. Recovery program's not easy, but they can do it. And they come out on the other side, and you can meet them and say, you know what? I think I just got myself a new van driver. I think I just got myself a new house painter. I think I just got myself a new manager. I think I just got somebody who's going to eventually own this company. That happens. And it's going to continue to happen because we're not going anywhere. So, all that to say, if you're interested in seeing what we do, I have a stack of business cards out on that table out there. I'll hand one to you. I'll talk to you for as long as you want to talk to me. If you want to come for a tour, do it. That's why I'm here. We all have to go somewhere. We all have to do something. We all have purpose. And if you don't have a friend in the world, you have one here. Thank you.